Hi, everyone. I am Robin from Western Mass. It is Sunday, November 12th, 2021, and this is the Morgellons Call of the Week. And I am the co-host. I've been here with Richard for over 2 years, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me and a little bit about Richard. So before I met Richard, I had been renting rooms out in my house through Airbnb, and my home got infested with mites, bed bugs, fleas, springtails, and they all carried Morgellons. And I also had gotten bitten by a tick that can carry Morgellons. So it took a long time to even figure out what was in my house because I'd never heard of anyone getting multiple infestations like that. So after 3 years of struggling, I wanted to burn my house down. I literally would imagine taking matches and lighting them everywhere. and so I was just desperate. And one Sunday I went to church and I asked my pastors to pray for me. And they prayed that God would bring me creative solutions. And then the next day I found Richard's book. I started participating in this call, just like all of you guys, and I started getting my life back. I started reading the book. I would email Richard questions. I struggled with the diet, but I finally got it right. And this call, the book, and Richard and everyone here was my lifeline to getting my life back. Without the King diet in the book, and Richard's unwavering support, I don't know if I would have made it through this because it was overwhelming. And I've learned that Morgellons is very complicated. There's co-infections. There's so many things that are discussed on this call. And Richard has a wealth of knowledge and experience. In my opinion, Richard Kuhns is one of the world's foremost experts in the field of Morgellons and skin parasites. I mean, I'm being careful saying one of the world's most, but I don't know anyone else who knows the stuff that he knows and who's been through it. He's been in the trenches with us, and he cares, and he's there for us. So anyway, at this point, I'd like to introduce Richard Kuhns, the author of How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons and Other Skin Parasites.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you so much. I did not set out to write a book about the subject. It was not my life desire or goal. It just wasn't there. You know, I had other interests and goals and still do. And that all got changed in the mid-90s when I pulled a vine from a pine tree in my backyard, after which a cloud of dust descended upon me and changed my life forevermore within 3 days. Now, my significant other that I was living with at the time was not out in the backyard with me. But 3 days to the very minute, both of us began itching like crazy. And we both, the only thing we could think of was a bath, a hot bath, a very hot bath. And we took turns, and I couldn't wait for my turn. And it provided a sense of relief. And so began a journey of misery. Trips to the doctor. She was a nurse at a local hospital in the critical care division and knew who the doctors were, the best ones. She went, and we were prescribed this and that, and everything seemed to work for a few days. Being the nurse and having contact with these doctors, she wasn't diagnosed with being delusional, as many of us have, and I have since then. So everything seemed to work for 3 or 4 days, and we'd think that, wow, we got it made, and then all hell would break loose, and the cycle would begin all over again, searching for another doctor, searching for the internet, searching for something to make a difference. So that trek is, in chapter 2 of my book, so I'm not going to go through it. As Robin noted, is that Morgellons is not usually a simple thing to deal with. Now, if you contracted Morgellons and knew exactly what you're dealing with within, say, 24 hours, now there's no diagnosis. You can't go anywhere to get diagnosed or get samples, but if you knew exactly what the symptoms were and that you had been manifesting them, and you knew that, okay, there were mites involved or bird nest or many of the different things that people are typically infected by, or rats or slime mold or things like that, and you put 2 and 2 together very quickly, well, Morgellons is a tiny little event in your life. It's a blimp. No big deal. You would know then, or have seen a video about the antidote taking basically a boron and alkalizing your system, and you might use some effective, well, ideally you would know about our nature's gift and apply that immediately. And hey, 2 days later, it would be a non-event. But that's not the case for 99.99% of the people that are exposed to Morgellons. By the time you figure it out, well, there are a whole bunch of cofactors get involved, the fungal issues get involved, the intestinal parasites get involved, your gut flora gets destroyed and can be a contributing factor to this with glyphosate and 5G and who knows, chemtrails may have something to do with it. It's a perfect storm. And usually by the time you figure it out, it's a massive problem. And add insult to injury, you go to doctor after doctor, and what do you get? Well, the best possible result that you could get from a doctor is, there may be something to this Morgellons thing, and you may have it, but I don't know exactly how to deal with it. I don't have that expertise. I don't know how to deal with it. That would be ideal. But generally, it's, well, you may be delusional. You may get diagnosed as being delusional, and you get in the database, and no matter how many doctors you go to after that, when they check that database, you're a nut. You are a nut. So, and you're delusional. And they quickly dismiss you. You go to emergency rooms and you're ushered out like you have some kind of leprosy, and they don't want to deal with you. And it's depressing. It's depressing. So over the years, I've learned of the things that make a difference in getting one's life back. The first and foremost is the diet that I discovered. And I call it the King Diet because it's top in my mind, the top diet. It's unlike any other diet in the world. In fact, last week, Robin and I did an episode, or we did this video on the King Diet. So that's where you start. You start with a King Diet, and when you start with a King Diet, you basically, all of us are into supplements. In fact, the topic of this video is on a very, very important supplement. And all of us have, or at least I did, a cabinet full of supplements. Well, you start by putting them all in the back. Put them away, because all of them, I guarantee you, have some kind of ingredient in them that is contrary to the diet and is only going to feed the parasites. So I caution everybody, when you go into this protocol, do not mix other protocols with this one. It's taken me 20 years to figure out and find, not necessarily figure out, but discover, find the supplements, the targeted supplements that make a difference. Now, as we get into the technical aspect, like I said before, I didn't set out to write a book. I didn't set out to know anything about skin parasites. I am not a doctor. I am not trained as a physician. I'm not trained as a lab specialist. Okay, I have no training in those areas. I'm a chemical engineer, all right, who has no business having Morgellons or skin parasites, but here I am. So the FDA requires me to inform all of you that Robin, myself, and any of my coaches, none of us are trained medical doctors. That before you start the King diet, which is very precise and also very healthy, and before you accept any of the recommendations that I may provide or any of my coaches that are in the protocol, that you discuss them thoroughly with your medical doctor to make sure they do not interfere with any health problems you are presently experiencing. The AMA also requires us to inform you that we are not here to diagnose, to cure, to treat, or mitigate any skin disease or any disease whatsoever. The only thing that we are allowed to do is to educate. And that's what my books are about. That's what this program is about. That's what everything is about that we do. We train you how to utilize the King diet to your advantage. We teach you how to clean your skin, get the organisms out of your skin, because until you start the diet and get on that diet, I'm amazed. I get emails, so I get an email from this guy, and he goes into this litany about all the trouble that he's been going through lately. Now, he's been on the mailing list and getting our updates and has access to this program, and everything that I do, all the information is free here, okay? He has access to all of that, just as all of you do. So he goes through this whole litany, a long paragraph about all the difficulties he's been going through, and I write him one basic question: are you on the diet? And his response was no. What the heck? That's what this program is about. You're not on the diet? I have no answer for you. That's it. It's the diet, or find something else. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but if you're not doing the diet, and if you're not making the diet work, which is what we talked about last week, I don't know how to help you. I'm too stupid. I don't know. But if you're on the diet, then I can answer your questions, and I can be supportive, and so can all of my coaches be supportive of you in getting your life back. So we can educate you how to clean them out of your skin, because until you're on the diet, you're a walking, talking, breathing machine. And once you get on the diet, then we can get the organisms that have been there out of your skin through using cleaning techniques. Bathing techniques, shower, years before we had the debriding soap, I got my life back with simply scalding hot baths and using Epsom salts or borax. So you don't need any of the products that we have in the store. They simply make life a lot quicker and easier, because no need to use scalding hot water. You can use regular temperature water. So we teach you how to clean your skin. Chapter 3 is all about cleaning your skin and disinfecting your environment, because they are and have taken up residence. You see, as I said before, if you knew what Morgellons was within 24 hours, it would be easy, but you don't. It's months, maybe years. And by the time you figure it out that you have these skin parasites, they're You're a walking, talking, breathing machine. They're in your skin, and they are totally in your environment, in your clothing, in your bedding, in your home, in your office, in your automobile, everywhere you spend time. They are there. And you can be on the diet and you can clean your skin, but if you don't deal with the environment, when you sit in that chair, you're going to become reinfected again. They're going to recontaminate you. When you put on your shirt, they're going to recontaminate you because they're in your clothing, bedding, and everything. So we also have done videos about that as well. And we've developed techniques in how to launder your clothing and how to store them and how to deal with your mattresses and how to seal them up and all of that. We do everything here. From we're the cook from A to Z. We cook everything. So we can teach you how to do that. And the next thing we can educate you is in the targeted supplements to build health and immune functioning. Now, one of the targeted supplements, and before I get into that, we talk about Morgellons and medical treatments. Now, there are, if you read my book in Chapter 6, there are a list of doctors who are listed with the Charles Hallman Foundation, and they treat Morgellons, aka Lyme disease. Now, this is important to notice that their research finds that essentially 90% of Morgellons people are dealing with spirochetes, one of two types of spirochetes, which is Lyme disease, all right? And what they do is treat generally with antibiotics. Now, Lyme disease generally, if caught early, if from, say, a tick, and you get the bullseye rash, you go to your doctor, and now today doctors know bullseye rash is Lyme disease. So it's 30 years ago they didn't, but now they do, and they treat you with an antibiotic. And within 2 weeks, it's a non-event. So Lyme disease is within 90% of the people, and standard technique is using antibiotics. Now, if you go back a few months, we have done videos on the use of antibiotics, and some people are on antibiotics for 5 years. I went through the treatment for 6 months. I was symptom-free, no problems whatsoever. My Lyme disease, there was no symptoms, everything was fine. And within 6 months thereafter, Lyme disease almost destroyed my life and killed me. I mean, it literally almost put me in a grave. It was that bad. So I know what chronic Lyme disease can do in terms of inability to even write your name, inability to basically even drive your car because the pain is so unbearable. I know. I lived Lyme disease. So I didn't set out to write the book about or the update about Lyme disease either. That was not in my list of things to do in my life. So their technique and their own research says that, what does their research say, Robin? Do antibiotics work long term? The antibiotics?
No.
I mean, and people on antibiotics, now some people are very sensitive to them, and antibiotics can wreck them within months. Other people may be on it for 5 years or so and then get wrecked to the point where they can't even digest food. It can be that severe. So antibiotics, even though they say they don't work, in their research findings, they recommend antibiotics. Now, this is, okay, so you might say, we are against antibiotics. No way. No way. What's the subject of our call today?
Garcillin.
Garcillin. The Egyptians, back in the days of the pharaohs, they ground their corn with sandstones, and the silica would end up in the flour. And the silica, as they would eat their bread made with the ground flour, would erode the enamel on their teeth and cavities. They used a garlic paste to apply to their teeth as a way of dealing with that. That's how long garlic has been around and been used. And throughout history, garlic has been turned to in many applications, tremendous number of applications. It is probably one of the plants that is most widely used medicinally. Garlic. It's been used with cancer, just everything. It's amazing. But you know what? When they do an analysis of garlic, and of course they open it up to do the analysis, there's a substance in garlic that they don't find in garlic when they do the analysis. And that substance is allicin. Allicin, A-L-L-I-C-I-N. Allicin is a natural substance that is inside the garlic clove. And it seems that garlic, in its I wish roses and all beautiful plants could do this, and in a way they sometimes do. But when a predator or an insect attacks garlic, the garlic releases this allicin, which destroys the insect that quickly. It's self-preservation. It's that powerful. But as soon as you open up a clove of garlic, it's gone. It degrades almost within seconds and is gone. So when you do a chemical analysis of garlic, you will not find allicin in it because it's degraded that quickly. Now, researchers in the UK figured out how to actually stabilize allicin. So if you think that you can get that we're talking about garlic and that you can go to the health food store and buy a garlic substance like Kralik or anything like that and get the same result, no, it's not there. And if they advertise that it is in, it's immediately destabilized. So there is no garlic supplements or oils that you can purchase in a health food store that will supply you allicin. Now, allicin is, this is not my claim. Go to Wikipedia. Look up Wikipedia. Go to Britannica. Go to Collier's. Go to all the encyclopedias. Go to medical dictionaries and look up allicin. It's a natural antibiotic, antiviral, antifungal, antiprotozoan, and antiparasitic. Hey, doesn't that cover everything we deal with?
Yep.
Yeah. What else? Robin talked about the cofactors when she introduced me. There are all the cofactors. Now, that is what the topic of today's discussion is. So there's not much more to say about it, other than when we look at natural antibiotics, people say, well, how does it rack up against colloidal silver? Well, I don't know if I would put acillin in my eyes if I have problems with these organisms in my eyes, because that's where colloidal silver is fantastic. You can use it in your eyes. You can use rufenil. You can use even nature's gift in your eyes. But as far as doing everything that our Garcillin does, there's no comparison. None whatsoever. Now, how do I know? Well, again, I didn't set out to do any of this stuff. I just happened upon Garcillin about maybe 2017. Somebody had mentioned it, and I thought, you know, what the heck? I learn from you guys. So, as Robin said, if you find something that works, email me. If it, you know, after you've used it for a couple of months at least, you know, because I know everything works in the beginning for a few days or maybe even a week or so. But if you've used it, and this person did, and let me know about the Garcillin. Now, chronic Lyme, as I shared earlier, almost killed me. I mean, I could see, you know, here. Can you imagine? I've spent all these years getting my life back from Columbella, springtails, skin fungus, Morgellons. I spent all that time getting my life back, and I'm finally on easy street, only to be slapped up in the knees with chronic Lyme disease, and to the point I couldn't even write my name. The motor interference was incredible, and it was disappointing. It was discouraging. Fortunately, I had happened upon Max 1 glutathione and boosting glutathione, and that within 6 weeks, I would say 95% improved in the terms of symptoms from the chronic Lyme. That's my personal experience. We will do another segment on boosting glutathione another time, because that would take a whole hour to talk about that. And then around 2017 or so, someone shared me about the Allicin, and I took just one capsule. I mean, Robin, how many supplements have you ever taken in your life where you took just one thing and noticed a change within minutes?
I can count them on 2 fingers. Garcillin and Max 1.
Okay. All right. There you are. Because you generally get these, you read about them, they give you all kinds of things about what they're going to do for you, and you take them, and you take them, and you take them, and you say, where are the results? I don't see any results, you know. One capsule of Allicin, and my knee inflamed 100% with detox. And we do segments on how to deal with detox. I didn't know how to deal with detox at that time. I didn't know there was a way of dealing with detox other than stopping what you were doing. I wasn't even sure I was detoxing. I first thought, oh my God, this thing activated Lyme disease, and it's going to kill me. You know, this is a big mistake taking this capsule. That was my first thought. And then I thought it through. Detox, inflammation, my knees. It was the system, the gravity system, that was clogged up. And I eventually, after 2 weeks, I got a vibrating pillow, vibrated under my knees, got the fluids flowing, got the toxicity out. And by adding then the Garcillin back in, took me very quickly to 99.5% freedom from Lyme disease. So that's how powerful this thing is. And it's one of our main supplements that we have in the store. Now, we also do have 12%, I believe it's 12%. It's equivalent to the Sovereign Silver. The top selling silver colloidal is Sovereign Silver, and we have the same concentration. I think it's 12 ppm in the store, available to everybody. And you know what? I'd say 300 to 1 go the route of Garcillin versus the colloidal silver. That's how effective it is. The numbers speak for themselves. So, do you have anything to add to? What was your experience with the Garcillin?
Well, I'm still taking it, and I take it with the Max One, and actually the roots of my hair is coming in black again.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but I had someone I'm coaching this week. They called me up and they said, "So I don't have any more biofilm. I don't know what's going on. I'm really nervous." I said, "Well, it means you're getting better." And they said, "Well, but all I'm doing is taking Garcillin." Should I stop? I said, "No, keep going."
Who wants biofilm? That's one of our main goals, and we talk about
Right.
that. That's another complicating factor when we're dealing with Morgellons and spirochetes and Lyme disease. Is this is their defense. They create biofilm to protect them from being attacked by antibiotics and so forth. And you made a very important point there. You're still taking Garcillin. So how long do you take Garcillin?
Forever, I think.
And Max One?
Same thing.
Forever. Now why? Well, because when it comes to glutathione, again, every day there are things that bombard us, from radiation, solar radiation, to illness, to 5G and 4G, and your data, things with your computer, all this depletes glutathione, and you want to keep it up there. When you keep your glutathione high, it's one of your greatest defenses against free radical damage going on intracellular. It's great defense against chemicals and pesticides that we're exposed to in today's environment. Okay, go on and on and on. Now, likewise, when we are dealing with the organisms in this universe, whether they be big bacteria or I'm not going to claim that by taking Allicin you have a defense against COVID. No way. But let me backtrack, because there was also a study done that was published on PubMed, but the problem was they only used 4 people. So it's not really a big pop. I don't know why they didn't use 400, and they should go back and do 400. But they used 4 people and found out by boosting glutathione, COVID was a non-event as well. So with all this junk around us, it behooves us to. I know that now I take personally 2 capsules a day of the Garcillin, because I have a propensity, I've had herpes, the mouth sores and all that kind of stuff, and, basically their history with this. And again, I take Allicin as well, with 1,500 milligrams, I believe, a day, which is an amino acid, which also helps. But so you don't stop Garcillin. It's natural. It doesn't destroy your gut flora. It promotes health. It protects you, viral, fungal, everything. So it's something that you would do for the rest of your life. And it's a small price to pay. No, we're not saying you're never going to have health problems. We're not making a claim like that. We're just saying to build health and immune functioning, this is what you do. You utilize Garcillin or Allicin. Now, you want to be careful, because you can go to the health food store and you can find Allicin. Many people write in and say, "Hey, I found this." Now, our Allicin, both of our products, we have Garcillin 1 regular and Garcillin 2. The difference being that the one has higher parts per million, which makes it a little bit more powerful. So we have you start on regular Garcillin and then go to Garcillin 2, and you start at 1 capsule a day. You can go up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you can switch to Garcillin 2, start at 2 a day and go up to 3 or 4, as much as you need, and then you come back down when you've achieved your goals in terms of health and well-being. So you can go up and then you come back down as you achieve your goals. So It's something that you do as protection, just like we take vitamins every day because we don't get enough of them in the foods that we eat. Vitamins and minerals, we don't get enough, and we don't get enough protection for our immune system either. So build your health and immune system, and the Garcillin is the way to go. Many of the things that you're going to find, they will say they have 300 micrograms of Allicin, not to be confused with the 300 milligrams that ours has, which is a heck of a lot more. So you want to be very careful. You also want to look at the ingredients to make sure the ingredients are compatible with the diet. Both of our Garcillin products, when they put these ingredients in capsules, they need anti-caking agents, and some people use things like maltodextrin or gum arcadia, and these things are not on the diet. And our Garcillins have NuFlow, and what NuFlow does the same thing. It is made from rice grain. The shell of the rice is what it's made from, so it's compatible with the diet.